Today, we will learn about the art of the panic seller. A panic seller is a very unique breed. They have their bad qualities and they have their other qualities, but they don't have good qualities. The panic seller does not have any control over his emotion. He lives his life in fear, and he has no confidence in himself. In today's Trading to Glory episode, we're going to be talking about how you should avoid panic selling, but also how to avoid getting yourself in that position in the first place. Because as you guys saw this weekend, even I lost coins on this Rafinha card. And if you had invested in Rafinha or Hernandez, a couple other informs that we talked about in the last episode, you lost coins, right? And here is how I really didn't get myself into any bad situations during this weekend. I mean, the sky was absolutely falling on Sunday and on Tuesday. The market was literally crashing to the ground, and my investments were doing just fine. I had literally no panic. I watched so many people on Twitter say it's impossible to make investments, never hold a card for more than 24 hours. And I get where they're coming from. I totally understand the volatility of the market in FIFA 22. It is a dangerous market to play around with because every time supply hits, the market seems to crash. And that is really, really bad for making any investments that are longer than a day. Now, if you find the right investments, and maybe with a little bit of luck as well on your side, you can end up coming out with a bunch of profit even when the market's dropping. That's how we made over 500,000 coins on these investments despite the market crash. And I'm actually going to go ahead and clear all these sold items. We freaking took our profit. The lowest I sold one for was 114,000 coins, and that was one of the last ones that I needed to sell. I got all 126 for all the other ones, and I even made about, what would that be, about 17,000 coins on the Theo Hernandez card, as well as 5K per card on Moeller. It was a great weekend. Now, the way that I stayed away from panic selling, one, was because I know that during the day, the market is going to get lower than it would be at nighttime. Now, the first question you're going to ask is, what time zone are you talking about? Because that's different all parts of the world. So let me explain. At about 6 p.m. UK, that is when the market sees a drop pretty much every day because of 6 p.m. content. That's when EA will release new cards, new SBCs, or, special packs, player picks. Everything that happens during FIFA happens at 6 p.m. UK. And that's when people will sell cards because of all the supply hitting. When the marquee matchups dropped today, which we'll go ahead and do a little bit later, when marquee matchups dropped today, we saw the market take a hit. If you actually want to look at the market index, you can see during the day what happens to the market at about 6 p.m. UK. So here's FUTBIN. Let's head over to the market index 100. We'll just look at the market in general, or actually we can probably just look at gold cards. That would be smarter. And take a look at the hourly graph of yesterday. And I bet you we see a drop right around 6 p.m. UK. It's right there. That's 6 p.m. UK, and it drops pretty consistently every single day at that time. Pretty much every single day. And I could go back further and farther and farther. You're going to see that drop every single day at that time. And in fact, you see a rise leading up to it. So that's something to remember. If you want to sell your cards, though, a lot of times I'll try to sell my cards somewhere around this range back here, because I'm going to be selling overnight while there's a scarcity of people listing their cards. The people in the UK, they've been asleep. The people in North America are going to sleep generally. So there's a sweet spot at around, 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. in Eastern Standard Time, which would be about 6 a.m. UK. So exactly 12 hours apart, where most of the market for FIFA, they're asleep, okay? Most of FIFA players are asleep, and the people that are awake are generally maybe Eastern Europeans, the Arabic countries, and Australia. Right? So all of those regions would be awake, but those are some of the smallest regions in terms of players that FIFA sees. Most of it's going to be, Western to Central Europe and United States and Canada and anywhere in the Americas, right? That's the biggest market by a long shot. So when everybody's asleep, there's a scarcity of cards getting listed. So despite the fact that a card might not necessarily be too expensive, it might just be not getting listed. So a card might get a little bit scarce just because of listings, and you can list a card for 5 or 10,000 coins above what it goes for. That's how I sold some De Jongs for 126k. He didn't really hit 125 for all that long, right? He only got up to about 123 at one point, and it stayed there for a while. He's been at 120 to 121 a ton. And then now he's actually back down under 111,000 coins. You can see one's been up for about 7 minutes at 111. He's dropped about 10,000 coins today. Now, you're going to see a drop on a card like this, just like we saw with Bruno Fernandes in the last couple of days. That Bruno Fernandes card pretty much halved in price in about 5 days. That's an insane drop. I'm not saying De Jong's going to halve in price in 5 days at any point, but what you've got to understand about this card, and a mistake you need to avoid when investing, is so many people now have De Jong in their team. So many people have Frankie De Jong in their squad. Why? Because people have Nabil Fekir and Naki Williams. They have the new Dutch left wing from La Liga. They might have Ousmane Dembele. They're building, they got Benzema, player of the month. They're building La Liga teams, and that's why his card went up in price. So you've got to think, while we had all of this supply over the last couple of days that's crashed the market for 95% of cards, Frankie de Jong went up. Eventually, that has to come back down. So now that there's so much supply in people's clubs, you have to consider that when you're making your next investment. If you're making an investment in a card that everybody is using in their team, then yeah, you might be all right. You might be good to invest in that for now. But once either a new card comes out that's similar, that might be even cheaper, or as more supply just comes around, or people start shifting to better teams or different leagues, any of those possibilities will crash Frankie de Jong, which is exactly what happened to Bruno Fernandes. Guys, people are kind of going away from EPL more than they ever have, and they're going for La Liga and Serie A and Ligue 1. They're going with different leagues this year. And so all the people gravitated towards La Liga this week, and La Liga cards did so much better than any other league. EPL crashed the hardest because I think that's where most people were selling their cards from, along with the fact that people invested in EPL cards a little bit too much, expecting them to be the most expensive once again, and it's just not exactly the case. Although they are a little bit, you're still paying a premium for them. That is something you have to consider, and if you don't consider that, that's a huge mistake with your investments. So, as we look forward to this week, guys, something that you want to keep an eye out for is Team of the Week 5. I told you guys about some low-budget investments yesterday, and I would like to go ahead and announce that I think a lot of them are a little bit too late now. If we take a look at Ogbonna, though, I haven't checked his price. He's probably going to be getting into Team of the Week, but his card is about 1,100 now, and you could have gotten him for 800 and less last night. So the hype is building for these cards. There's a couple of options to go with. One, you sell into the hype right before the Team of the Week drops, take the profit, get out. If you wait until Team of the Week drops, there's most likely going to be a slight drop on the cards because of people panic selling those investments. Even if they're low budget, they might go from 1,100 back down to 900, or they'll probably be somewhere near 2K at some point before 6 p.m. UK. And then you can sell into the hype, which I would probably suggest if you want to make quick profit. If not, you hold those cards at least until the weekend. Give them a few days out of packs. See what happens in terms of squad building challenges. Another thing that people make a big mistake on is they'll invest in a dropped price card without really understanding why the card dropped. They just see, okay, this card went from 120K to 60K. It has to go back up a little bit. Although sometimes they might be right and it might correct itself slightly, most of the time it's not going to do that. The card dropped for a reason. if you take a look at Alexander Isak, I guess, for an example, he's on the front page quite a bit. This is a card right now who's going for about 95,000 coins, and at first I thought he was going to be a card that rebounded very quickly. But I thought about it for a minute, and I realized, no, that's not going to happen. And if you already know why it's not going to rebound like I think it is, or I thought it was going to, then I've taught you well. But if not, that's totally fine. Here's his drop. Again, right at 6 p.m. UK, it starts dropping, and it crashed. Like, literally, that is worthy of the word crash. It went from 135 to 95. Dropped about 40,000 coins, which is about a third, almost a third of his price, which is big. And I thought, okay, for 95, he's got to recover to at least 105, 110, no problem. But then I realized, no, there's another option now that people are going with. Instead of Alexander Isak, people are going out and doing a Naki Williams as squad building challenge instead. Even if you think Isak's better, that doesn't mean everybody does, and it doesn't mean everybody even thinks about it. And a lot of people that like to have untradeable cards, as crazy as that may seem, they like the Panini, the collecting value of it, they'll drop that Isak to go get a Naki Williams. So not only does the demand lower, but the supply also rises at the exact same time. And since there's another option, that card just simply doesn't have as much value as it did yesterday. So this isn't a card that's randomly crashing due to a lot of supply like Teo Hernandez did, right? This was a card that randomly dropped due to supply. On Friday and on Sunday and even on Tuesday, this is a card that dropped a ton because of supply, not because another card was replacing it. So if you wanted to buy into the dip for this card, that's why I bought one. Exactly at 189K, sold it for 215 overnight last night. That's why I did that. So you don't want to make the mistake of investing in a card just because it went down. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go back up. But some cards, like Teo Hernandez, it will mean they go back up. And I think at 209, I've been looking at him about 203, 204, 205 all day today. And I'm not going to lie, I'm probably going to regret not investing in him. I've already played around with him a lot and made some coins on him. I think this is going to be a really good card out of packs. It's going to be Wednesday. Time this video goes up, it actually is Wednesday. At about 8 a.m. UK when I'm recording this. So this card's going out of packs in just about 8 hours or 10 hours from now. So there's going to be less supply as time goes on, and I think it's going to rise really nicely. Kind of similar to how a lot of other Team of the Week cards have done out of packs. I think this is the safest way to go. If you don't want to make a mistake with those gold cards, if you just want to invest in cards that are out of packs, Nico Barella, he's a good example of cards going out of packs. I'll show you him. Serginho Dest, that's a good example. Pretty much all of them. Chalmeni, pretty much anything that's out of packs, that's any value that people want to use in their team, they go up out of packs. So Nico Barella went out of packs right here at 98K. It went out of packs, got all the way up to 144. It's 134 right now. Serginho Dest, 33,000 coins right now, went out of packs at 18K. Went out of packs at 18K. So it's pretty much almost doubled in price ever since it went out of packs. Really good investment if you got in on that, which was in Team of the Week 2. And then we've got this one from Team of the Week 3, so even more recent. Went out of packs right here. You could already see it started to rise as it got closer to going out of packs. People started investing in it more. They all hit their low point on the weekends. So right now, Teo Hernandez is still low on a Tuesday, so it's still kind of an opportunity. It's still low on a Wednesday morning, as opposed to have gone up a little bit. I think that we're going to see this kind of rise on Teo Hernandez in the next couple of days, and he could easily go from 210,000 coins to 240, 250. I think is probably a realistic range for him to go within the next week and a half. It could be quicker. It could be in the next couple of days if there's that much demand for him going into this weekend. But you also have to think about the fact that, guys, today was a big day for EA. I'll actually pull that up for you now. So I'm on Twitter now, and you see FIFA Direct Communication. They say that we have identified over 30,000 active accounts that exploited the no-loss cheat, the no-loss glitch that everybody was using over the weekend, or not everybody, over 30,000 people were using, and they suspended them from FIFA 22 online for 7 days, for a week, which means that they can't participate in FUT Champs this weekend. So all 30,000 of them, I'm not sure if they're going to have access to the market, but they won't be building their squad going into this weekend because they won't be needing it. And if they still have access to the market but not access to online, because I believe you can still trade on the web app and even on the transfer market, you just can't play any games for 7 days, they'll just sell their team. And when they list their team, they have no demand for a week. They're just going to be playing around with coins on the transfer market for a full 7 days. So that is going to lower the demand a little bit going into this weekend. It's something to consider. I don't know how much of an impact it's going to have because this is unprecedented times for FIFA. But it's definitely something that I'm pretty happy about. I'm not going to lie. I'm not happy that people are getting banned or anything. I think they got off pretty easy, but I'm happy EA are taking a reasonable step and they're taking reasonable action against people who obviously had such an impact on the market because of the cheating. And I would feel a little bit screwed over if everybody else was getting 16-4s and 20-0s, and I struggled to get 8 wins this week, and I went 8-8, and then I gave 4 wins away because I wasn't going to go 4-0 to get the 12-8 again. So you know, I struggled to go get 8 wins while some people are just no loss glitching their way all the way through. So that's something that would have made me a little bit salty, you know. So just in a statement of fairness, that's what I would suggest. By the way, these cards are on the market. I don't know if I ever talked about them. I would suggest not to play around with them unless you fully study them. Yes, there are a few Team of the Week 1 cards that are glitched onto the market with red cards. I've never seen it before. And in fact, they have different price ranges from their inform, which blows my mind that EA have actually updated their price range instead of just taking them off of the market. But that's the world we live in now. So that is an Azpilicueta red card on the market, never seen before. But that's besides the point, guys. So what I'll leave you guys with in today's video is if you're going to make some investments, there's definitely some options. And I think most of the best options are going to be out-of-pack investment gold cards, as some players are going to get into Team of the Week on Team of the Week 5, or you can just invest in the actual Team of the Week 4 cards. Right now, as we saw, Theo Hernandez, a little less than 210,000 coins. I like him, but you also got to consider there is 10,000 coin tax, a little bit more than that, as you sell this card. So you've got to factor in the fact that if I buy this for 209, I need this to get to 220 to even start making profit. And then anything beyond that would be profit. So that's something to think about with Theo Hernandez. If you're going with SBC fodder investments, Thomas Muller, who we invested in at 20, or actually at 18 to 19,000 coins, he is already up to 25K. But here's the thing, boys. It doesn't really show any signs of going down, okay? So this is a card that will rise out of packs, especially the more time you give it. If you were to buy one even now, not getting the best deal at 20 or 21K, you getting it for 25K, you will make profit. There's no doubt, but you got to be patient with SBC fodder cards. You're not going to be making a quick flip on SBC fodder cards. Those are more long-term investments. Rafinha, I wouldn't say it's a terrible investment, but it's a lot more volatile. We saw what happened to Inform SAR after he went out of packs. He rose a ton, but once Rafinha actually dropped, SAR went from about 49,000 coins all the way down to about 28,000 coins. So he dropped in price a ton, and it looks like Rafinha's already up a decent bit from what he was earlier today. I think he got down to about 33,000 coins. So now he is at 37. So he's already up a little bit. I think people are investing similarly to the idea I'm showing you right now and getting in on some of these cards. I think a lot of people still have them on their transfer list, though. So there's still a lot of supply to be given over the next 12 hours. But if you want to get in on some of these investments, they will be going out of packs, and those are probably some of the safer ones to go in on. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Appreciate you guys watching all the way through on the Trading to Glories. And if you made it to the end of the video, comment the words Brussels sprouts down in the comments below. Brussels sprouts are disgusting, but that's going to be the secret word, so I know who made it to the end of the video. And I'll make sure to drop a heart on every single one of those comments, and I'll try to respond to as many as I possibly can. Don't forget to drop a like on today's video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Check out all the links down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.